Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone, because we've got people joining us from around the world. Fantastic. Okay, thank you everyone so much for taking your time out of your day today to join us. It's very much appreciated. As you well know, our campaigns for whichever awareness day we do, they are nothing without you, without our community running the campaigns in your own countries, your own events. So again, thank you so much for joining us for this first kickoff meeting for the FH Awareness Day 2024. So just to let you know, the meeting will be recorded because several people have registered, but due to time constraints, they were unable to make the meeting. So this will be disseminated next week along with a presentation so that you can, again, look at it in your own time and ask any questions as well that may not present themselves to you today during the call. Okay. Thanks, Bella. Excuse me. So as I'm sure you're all aware, FH Awareness Day has actually been running since 2012. So I think this is, Magda, correct me if I'm wrong, this is probably our third or fourth campaign that we've been running. Our fifth campaign for with FH Europe Foundation. And the key thing is it's that uniting for FH awareness, using the power of our patient organisation, our ambassador voices, to help the world understand why they should know about FH. And particularly with this year, understanding the difference between high cholesterol and genetically caused high cholesterol. So heterozygous familial hypercholesterolemia and homozygous familial hypercholesterolemia. And as you know, to make this campaign a success, we need your help. We're here to support you to get the information out in your own countries. And the key thing is to make a difference, to really help educate, raise awareness, because HeFH and HoFH are very common cardiovascular disease risk factors. But obviously HoFH is rare, but it's a common cardiovascular disease risk factor, but undiagnosed in a majority of individuals. Next slide, please. Thanks. So just some statistics to give you a gentle reminder of why we need FH Awareness Day. Again, as I said, to highlight the difference between high cholesterol, which may be dietary related, versus the genetic high cholesterol. And as I said, HeFH is very common. Globally, 1 in 250 people will have HeFH, yet only 10% have been diagnosed, which gives estimated 30 million people across the world that will have HeFH. If it's left untreated, it can, of course, lead to atherosclerosis, early heart attacks, and heart disease and stroke potentially, and even premature death. And of course, with HoFH, which is rare, it can cause heart attacks and unfortunately early deaths in children under the age of 10 as well. So if you have FH, then each of your first degree relatives, so that would be your parent, sibling or child, has a 50% chance of also inheriting it. And then of course, if both parents have FH, each child will have a 25% chance of inheriting HoFH. And the final statistic, which is really makes you think, is that every minute of every day, somewhere in the world, a child is born with heterozygous FH. Okay, so just having a quick look back at past activities. I appreciate some of you on the call may recognise your your faces on here from last year's campaign. I can see Gurgly nodding along there. It's just to really highlight, to really humanise the campaign. So it was, or it still is, people like us. We look perfectly normal from the outside, but inside, yeah, we're all fighting the potential risk of cardiovascular disease and be on various different forms of medication, etc. But live our best lives. Okay. And then this is just a reminder of what we've done over the last few years. So last year we started our collaboration with the European Atherosclerosis Society, which we were delighted to be part of. And we hosted jointly 5 webinars, of which there were 689 people registered from an average of 27 countries for each one. And I'll be drawing on that more later as the collaboration, I'm happy to say, is continuing as well. And then we also had a women's specific webinar for FH last year on the 21st, looking at the misdiagnosis and gender bias as well. And we'll be able to share those at a later date, but some interesting papers have been out this year focusing on women with FH as well. And all of these, when a presentation goes out to you next week, where it says watch on demand, those links are working and they'll be able to take you straight through to the YouTube videos. So again, over the last few years, we've done quite a lot with FH. So it's just building on this and amplifying what we've already done, and again, how we can support our amazing network going forward to make this campaign the best yet, which leads me into what's going on this year. So for 2024, so as I've previously mentioned, we really want to provide clarity around the difference between high cholesterol and the familial hypercholesterolemias, both HeFH and HoFH, and really sort of building on that with the existing projects we have, such as Perfecto and PerMed FH, which Magda will go into more detail shortly to help you understand why it's significant and how it all ties in together with FH Awareness Day. And of course, running throughout the last 12 months, we've had the Vote 2024 for cardiovascular health with a manifesto that was put forward by the European People's Party. And this is continuing and ties in with the World Heart Federation and their petition that they have running at the moment for cardiovascular health. An email would have come out from us a couple of weeks ago with a link to the petition, so everyone has the opportunity to sign it and really get our voices heard, particularly within the European Parliament. So we've got 2 objectives. We've got the wide objective, which is raising awareness within the public about, as I keep reiterating, the difference between high cholesterol and FH, and then the need to screen early, to detect early. So if you have high cholesterol in your family, and you have a teenager or a child tested, if their cholesterol is high, the chances are it's not dietary related. So this is where it's significant and important to know your genetics and the possible outcomes for looking at personalized prevention and precision medicine. And then we're narrowing it down to tie in with Perfecto and the European Cardiovascular Health Plan to create pan-European synergies. And on this note, this is where I'd like to hand over to Magda to talk about these projects in more detail.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much, Emma. And when you were speaking, I had the pleasure of letting some people in, and it's so amazing to see so many faces, and some people were nodding, which means that the messages do resonate with them. Guys, we have organized this meeting as a meeting, not as a webinar. So please, please, please do feel free and comfortable to turn your cameras on, because we love to see your faces. And even though you are on mute, it's really great to understand how this campaign resonates with you. So awesome, Mutaz, you're setting a good example there from wherever you might be in the world, because you are such a globetrotter, always spreading the word about FH, and not only. Thank you so much, Emma. And I just wanted to briefly come back to one of the statements that you've made, which is very, very important, because as you can appreciate, we have an international community. I don't necessarily want to say global, but international. And it's important that we recognize the differences as well as similarities. And we need to build on similarities, but be very respectful and very mindful of maybe local differences and changes, cultural changes, and so on and so forth. And so one important thing, FH prevalence, guys, you will see different numbers depending on different publications. I think we are now referring to 1 in 311 because of the EAS consensus paper publication around preference. But we do know that in some regions, in some cultures, in some geographical regions, the prevalence will be higher. It will be found more often than just 1 in 311. Professor Albert Wigman is nodding his head, which is very helpful and reassuring. So we are using those numbers as sort of loose numbers. It's around 1 in 300 and over 30 million people around the world, but it might have a regional shift or somehow. So it's really important that you know those numbers for your specific communities. And that's an important element when I'm talking about Perfecto and PermadeFH. So both of those projects are very much European projects, and I appreciate again that we have an international community, but the outcomes, the results, the implications of those projects will have hopefully very much a global impact. So Perfecto specifically is a project dedicated to precision medicine in early detection, early screening, pediatric screening for FH, where we look at governments, decision makers, including and engaging people who actually make it happen. So implementational science, and at the same time, personalized communication models, what resonates with people, how to speak to them, how to raise awareness, how to engage them so they feel part of that. And we are focusing, zooming in on specific communities in Europe, and that is Romania, Cyprus, and Bulgaria. And we also, and I hope you will appreciate the importance of that, zoom in on minority groups or underprivileged communities, communities that are often left behind because of cultural differences or other things. And here specifically Roma communities or migrants. Why I want to emphasize it? Because it's as well an element of precision medicine. We cannot leave anyone behind. It's important that we make sure that whatever projects we do, whatever science is out there, we bring the best we can to everyone, down to the every sort of individual village, community, and so on and so forth. So that's Perfecto for you guys. And PermadeFH, I could not be happier to share. It's around, again, precision medicine in familial hypercholesterolemia, and it's in collaboration with Professor Mafalda Bourbon and other esteemed experts. I should say we have wonderful people in the Perfecto team as well, and I didn't name them, but it's not on purpose. I think we will just post maybe the link to the website and everybody can read more. But in PermadeFH, coming back to that project, we are looking into understanding genetics between FH, the importance of different genes and mutations. And why is it so important? Because everyone, guys, as much as possible needs to know what's happening, what mutation they have, because that will help you fight for the best and advocate for the best treatment, the most effective treatment for you. one size doesn't fit all in familial hypercholesterolemia, and we need to be able to articulate it in the best possible way. So 2 fantastic projects, fantastic experts on both sides, and hopefully impactful changes to come out of as a result. And I appreciate that the results won't be seen in the month or 2. It will take several years. Perfecto is 3 years, PERMET is over 3 years, but it will be important to everyone to familiarize themselves with the science, and we need you to help over the years articulate those results down to your local communities. Emma, did I fit into 5 minutes that you gave me? I hope I haven't overrun it.
Marginally over, but only a little tiny bit. I've just noticed, Feveronia, you have your hand up. Would you just like to say anything at the moment? I'm very sorry if I pronounced your name wrong as well.
Hello, here speaking Elizabeth Steinhagen-Thiessen. I'm together with other people of my group. Sorry that my name is not listed, but anyway, I would just like to announce that we are in Berlin just starting a very new, huge project, which also has precision medicine as an aim. And in this project, we are doing a newborn screening in almost every clinic where people give birth, and also in our university hospital. So we are looking forward to the ASIC committee, which is giving us hopefully their yes to our project at the beginning of September, and we are now in the program in the progress of preparing all these different steps. And from my experience, and this is the main thing I wanted to mention here, from my experience of our other newborn screening project in Mecklenburg-Vorpommern, which is an area in north of Germany near to the Baltic Sea, for sure we have some FH people.
Fantastic.
But on top of that, we have, because I take blood from the parents, we have quite a bunch of people with polygenetic findings. And this, even if we not detect all the FH people around the world, but this we detect also, and this we should not close our eyes before these findings, because we have many, many people with polygenetic diseases. And sometimes they are not so severe as the monogenetic ones, but they also have positive family history, etc., etc. And
fantastic.
This is one of our findings.
Professor, it's always great to have you, and it's great to have voice from Germany and such a wonderful ambassador like yourself, because you are definitely a trailblazer. Is this how I say it in English? Is it correct? So it's fantastic to have you. But let's can I suggest the following? Let's leverage FH Awareness Day with FH Europe Foundation and the fantastic people we have here to put maybe some sort of a blog or a press release that we can disseminate, because more people need to find out about it. So can I make a suggestion that Emma, after the call, will reach out to you and we can capture it to really share with the wider community, because it's such a fantastic opportunity. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you. Emma, back to you.
Yes, and I think it's going to be over to Spelle next to talk about the campaign toolkit for this year, and also to share a couple of visuals.
Yes, thank you, Emma. So I will be talking a little bit about what this year's campaign will include. So first, we will have a dedicated webpage, which the address is already there, but it will be active after the 22nd of August. It will be similar as the one that we had for the HoFH Awareness Day that you have probably seen in May. So it will contain some basic information about FH and about the FH Awareness Day. It will have the social media toolkit available for you to download. It will also have a very important virtual library with all the key publications, scientific articles, policy reports, also some educational videos and webinars that will be very helpful to understand and learn more about FH as such. And of course, we are always delighted to have and partner with other organizations and other companies. So we are happy to, let's say, open the section of partners and sponsors. Maybe Magda, I don't know, you would like to have a word here?
Oh, well, as you know, guys, all hands on deck, meaning every single organization, institution, individual, but also a call out there to potentially sponsors who are there to help us and support. We would love you to be part of that, both amplifying the voice, but also putting some resources behind it. So we will be knocking on your doors still, hoping that it's not too late. Thank you, Spela.
Thank you. So the social media toolkit that you will be able to download and get and leverage from it and share, of course, is going to include basic key messages that will this year be a little bit different because we're building on our last year very successful and a well-accepted campaign. So you will see in the next slide, we have incorporated these existing materials and messages, but in a more brighter, more engaging way with more call to action, linking the aforementioned projects, the Perfecto and the PerMed. So this will be one part very important, and we think it will have a great impact. So we're looking forward to it. We will also have the basic countdown visuals of 1 month to go, 1 week to go, which we are happy to share, and they will be also in several languages. We will have the official social media frame that you can use and the whole editorial calendar, which will also have the option for translations, as we did in the previous year. And we will also have this email signature. Here you can see the hashtags that we will be using, similar to past year. So we invite you all, when sharing or commenting or posting your own post, to also use these hashtags as well. So now we will share with you just like a brief sneak peek of how it will look like.
And Spela, if I can just come in and say, guys, we work as a community on social media specifically only when we share, comment, like, repost. Seeing it is one thing, sharing and reposting, commenting is another thing. And I think a big kudos goes to Patricia, who is on this call as well, who definitely is our champion in resharing. So if everybody tries to reshare like her, we will definitely get our message around the globe. There's a lot more of you doing this, but I just thought I will give a kudos to Patricia.
So the materials will be also maybe just a quick in different formats, and we will be using also the logos from the projects mentioned before. But we will also have it open if you want to add the logo of your organization. But please always keep all that is in the, let's say, in the basic visuals that we will share with you. So now I'll just hand over to Elsie, our Ambassador Program Project Manager, and Sherelle, our Patient Ambassador, to have a few words more about the project.
Fabulous, thank you for that. So one of the things to keep in mind when Spela was saying about the logos, we use the logos that are given to us because we collaborate and engage with larger projects, as Magda was explaining about the Perfecto and the PerMed FH. And part of that, there are a certain amount of requirements and adherence that we have to do, but also it helps us to help us with greater exposure and connecting with a much wider community. So we will add your logos where it's appropriate, but also please keep in mind to keep those in place. We also have our projects are linking really nicely with Patient Safety Day on the 17th of September this year, as well as LDL Apheresis Day, which is also on the 17th of September. I think everything happens in September. But for the Patient Safety Day, one of the biggest things is that the theme this year is improving diagnosis for patient safety. The slogan that they're using is "Get it right, make it safe." So as you can imagine, raising awareness and promoting collaboration around patients and policy makers and health workers fits in really beautifully with Perfecto, with the early detection, the screening, with the precision medicine for PERMID-FH. And again, it links in really nice with our HoFH campaign, because there is no HoFH, HEFH or HoFH without HEFH. That way around, something like that. But what I'll do is I'll hand over nicely to our amazing HoFH ambassador and the lead in our kind of project. Sherelle, are you there? I can't see your video. Yeah. I'm hoping you're there. There we go.
Thank you, Elsie. Yeah, I'm just excited to remind you all that our HoFH Awareness Day logo competition is still ongoing. And as some of you may know, the competition was launched on May the 4th, which was the HoFH Awareness Day, and will accept submissions until September 24th, which is the FH Awareness Day. And just a quick refresher, we're inviting the public, regardless of their artistic background, to participate in a unique opportunity to contribute to the fight against HoFH and submit a design that represents global solidarity and raising awareness worldwide for HoFH. So we've received some fantastic entries, and we're aiming for even more submissions from all around the world. So we are counting on you. And by we, I mean HoFH patients, their families, caregivers, and the community, and everyone affected by this condition. And we are counting on you to help us reach a wider audience and spread the word about the HoFH. And if each of you engages with their community and their network, we can definitely amplify our voice even further. So let's continue to encourage more people to get involved, and I'm sure together we can create something truly meaningful and will help shine a light on HoFH. So thank you once again for your dedication, and over to you, Emma.
Thank you, Sherelle. Okay, so it wouldn't be a proper FH Awareness Day campaign without at least one webinar. And as previously mentioned, I'm delighted to say that we are collaborating with the European Atherosclerosis Society for the second year in a row. And we have a proposed date of the 24th of September for our joint webinar. And the topic will be early screening for FH in the context of cardiovascular health. More details will come out about that in the very near future. We're also going to have an additional 2 recordings, which will be available on demand. Again, date to be confirmed, but it will be around FH Awareness Day. One will be on the topic of high cholesterol versus genetic high cholesterol, as I've previously mentioned, to help understand the difference between the two, and again linking it back with PERMID-FH. And again, the obesities, diabetes, and FH as well will be our second topic. So we've got a fantastic lineup of expert international speakers, and they will be revealed once the campaign starts. So I'd just like to say a huge thank you to our patient organisations. You're doing a phenomenal job, and we, as our role is just to amplify and support you on what you're already achieving. And I'd just like to use these few organisations as examples. So FH-Col in Austria, they had their FH symposium on the 11th of September. And on the right-hand side of the slide, this is just a snapshot of their programme. And they've got fantastic speakers, Florian, and I believe Professor Wiegmann, who's on the call as well. I believe he's speaking.
And then one of our important team members is a speaker.
Nicola as well, yes.
Nicola.
I hadn't forgotten. And And with Croatia, they're just in the process of setting up their first patient organisation for patients with dyslipidemias, and that should go live in September. And then on the 22nd of September, they have Run for FH, and you can see their president in the photograph below, Eva with her mum. And it was due to Eva that her mum was also diagnosed with FH. So it's really strengthened their bond as well. And they run together on a regular basis. Czechia in the Czech Republic, they've got their 9th Czech FH Awareness Week, which is still going strong and fantastic to have it in its 9th year. And then Magda, may I just hand over to you, please, about Luxembourg and Norway and what they're up to.
Absolutely. And just to say that when I saw the runners in the picture, I actually thought it was Kristina Chilikova from Czech, because she is our absolute, she's smashing it when it comes to running and ultra marathon and trials and whatnot. And then I realized that it was actually written in Croatian. So Kristina, your photo is missing there. But yes, going back to Luxembourg, it's a small country in Europe, but they're very prominent with fantastic experts. And for years, they have been engaged with FH Europe Foundation, both as expert speakers and fantastic advisors, but also now taking all the enthusiasm, inspiration. And Professor Wigman is here and a great friend of the team in Luxembourg. I hope it's not premature to share that they are in the final stage of signing an agreement with their government to implement from 2025 FH pediatric screening in the country, which just adds to our, I'm inspired by Olympics right now, to our gold medals list of country by country where FH screening is being implemented. So kudos to the group, and, one step at a time, one country at a time, we will make it happen together. I'm sure that there's other countries as well, but you need to tell us. I was just privileged to hear directly from Professor Corinne de Beaufort to say, hey, Magda, you need to help us amplify this. This is great message. And I'm like, awesome. But Norway obviously is another country that is doing a lot. Did we mention that Kirsten Holven, Professor Kirsten Holven, will be one of the top speakers, or we don't want to just yet? No. Okay.
Not yet.
Well, she is from Norway, and Norway is smashing as well when it comes to screening and doing genetic screening as well. And they have a fantastic lineup for the actual FH Awareness Day. We hope to hear more and disseminate more, but this is one of the countries that is really paving the way when it comes to doing the right thing right for the right reasons. So they are screening, and we're just awaiting for more confirmation from Margaret, who is running the HFH Norway organization. So I think we have 5 examples here. But Emma, would you agree that we should have at least 32 here, because this is the number of network members? So guys, I know that Emma has got the next slide coming up, but this is where you can help us understand what you do and how we can amplify your fantastic initiatives, just like Professor Thiesenstagen from Germany. But hey, Emma, back to you.
Thank you, Magda. Yes, as Magda's just said, this is a perfect opportunity. If anyone would like to share on the call right now, any plans that you have around FH Awareness Day. If you don't feel comfortable sharing, that's absolutely fine. Please feel free to either email any of us. You can email me at emma@fheurope.org, and I'll be happy to have a chat and share and see how we can support you with that. But yeah, before I go on to the next slide, has anyone got anything they'd like to share right now? Right, to avoid the tumbleweed moment, I'm going to move on just to give you the timeline, so you know exactly what is happening and when. So we are going to have a second call on the 22nd of August. I apologise, it won't be at 12 o'clock CEST. It will be later on in the day, but we will send you out an email, and that's just to help capture our American friends who it's about 3 a.m. in the morning for them right now, so hence they weren't able to join the call, understandably. And it will be very different to this call. It will be going through the campaign a lot more in detail, sharing with you the website, etc., which, as you can see, will be available from the Thursday, the 22nd, so 2 weeks today, along with a social media toolkit. And the spreadsheet for translations will be open from the 22nd of August. So every visual that we have, as we've done in previous campaigns, it will be open for you to add your translations and also add your logo to the visuals if you would like, but please get in contact with us about that. Of course, on the 24th of August, that's 1 month prior to FH Awareness Day, so the 1 month to go visual will go out on that date, so please feel free to share, like, etc. And the due date to send the translations will be the 27th, so it's quite a short turnaround. The official campaign launches on the 2nd of September, and the webinar will be on the 24th. You will be receiving this presentation, so don't worry about writing down all the dates right now. Okay, and then finally, over to you, our amazing community. And just once again, thank you so much for your engagement and your support. Yeah, this is your opportunity now to ask any questions that you may have that as a team we can hopefully answer for you. Ines.
Hello, everyone. I don't know, but thank you very much. Everything looks just great, understandable so far. So I'm very looking forward to receive these materials. I have a question I didn't see, or maybe I have missed. Will there be any common press release or something like that about the campaign, about FH and so on?
A very good point. And yes, I think we were so overjoyed to share the section around visuals that we forgot to mention the press release. So that will be ready as well on the 22nd. Thank you, Ines. It only shows that she does that regularly. That's her professional part of the job. So yes, thank you for reminding
I'm very
us.
glad to hear. So we will have also some time also to adapt it or use some facts from this release and so on. So that's great. Thank you.
Yeah. Annie, please go ahead.
Hi guys, how are you? Sorry, I was having difficulty finding my mute button there for some reason. Anyway, hi everybody, how are you all? Lovely to see so many familiar faces, and my goodness, the number of people on this call is amazing. And well done, guys. That's an amazing outline as usual, and you guys are just going from strength to strength. It's amazing. So with regard to FH Awareness Day this year, we are launching a big truck this year around World Heart Day, so over 3 days. So one of the features, it'll be on the 25th, but we're working FH Awareness Day into that launch. So definitely we'll be doing things like cholesterol checks on the truck, but one of the features that we're going to be covering for sure is to tie in with FH Awareness Day, and specifically to the point you were making, and I was really delighted when you said it around the highlighting the differences in the it's not just there's a difference between FH and or genetic predisposition and the kind of the lifestyle stuff. And I'm actually doing and we'll have it recorded hopefully, and it will be launched hopefully for FH Awareness Day with Dr. Patricia O'Connor, whom you guys know.
Oh, we love her.
Yeah, a podcast specifically for kind of newly diagnosed people, I think is kind of the tack we were taking, but definitely I think we'll be looking at kind of to try in with the campaign messaging as well, because we haven't recorded it yet. So definitely try to tie in with that just really highlighting and leaning into that piece about the difference as well. And if you do have high cholesterol in your family or something like that. And so many people, we've done a lot of outreach in the last couple of weeks just around the new infrastructure that we're bringing on board, and the different offerings and the different things that we do. And cholesterol is one of those, and cholesterol checks. And then obviously FH is kind of one of those things that comes into the conversation. And so many people have come up afterwards speaking to us and kind of saying, you know, actually, we do have very high cholesterol in our family. And it's just, you know, it's just the more you talk about it, the more you begin to hear back about it. So it's just something that struck me in the last couple of weeks, for sure, on the ground with us.
I'm going to tell you something that you don't know about yet, but we look at CRI as one of those countries and organizations that does things the right way. So expect an invitation in your inbox as CRI to speak at the annual meeting and inspire some of us, because it's really, really cool. But I just wanted to say, for the benefit of everyone else on this call, Dr. Patricia O'Connor, she actually started working as well with FH Europe and CRI a few years back, and Albert Wigman is here, and anyone else who might have been involved at that time, advocating and applying for a special national grant to implement FH pediatric screening in Ireland. So she's really a fantastic ally, great expert, and not only a clinician, but really a patient advocate. So fantastic. She's great. Great to have you.
She's great. Yeah. So awesome. So that's kind of where we're at, and how we're hoping to lean into and leverage your great resources and all of those other bits as well. So well done,
awesome.
Guys. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Annie. Despina, would you like to come in?
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you for all the support, and you have done great work. We are following it closely. I would like to ask something about the materials that you said that can be translated. This means, for example, that we can translate some of the materials that we will choose in Greek, for example, so that we can have in our LinkedIn page the Greek version and the English version, because we would like to have it in both languages. Is this acceptable?
Emma,
I mean, to translate some of the material, not all of it.
Yeah, Despina, this is fantastic. So again, everyone meet Despina. She is smashing it on social media, and especially on LinkedIn when it comes to sharing, reposting, and I'm so impressed, and thank you so much for doing that.
Thank you very much.
Despina, you know what? Because Perfecto is collaborating with Cyprus, and some of the materials are eminently coming in Greek. This is a fantastic opportunity to leverage for you in Greece, but also for Perfecto. So how about if we have an offline conversation, how to make the most out of it, so we don't duplicate efforts, but really can use resources that are on the ground in both countries.
Yes, and do we need a special translation company to do the translation? No.
Yes, so I think in perfect in a perfect world we would have both lots of money, lots of time, and expert translation companies. But we've tried it in the past, guys, and I think what we have noticed is that when you use an organization that does translations, they might be good at translating, but not necessarily at localizing. And there's a huge difference because we need to make sure that you use the right type of language. It's not translating word by word, but making sure that it actually resonates in this language in the right way. So this is why it's very important that you guys leverage either your experts or your resources that you have to translate it. Obviously, we have AI now that can help, but it won't localize. So again, anyone who is interested, Spela and Emma are smashing it in terms of making it happen, but we need you to be precise and help as fast as possible. And the same for Arabic.
Okay. So we'll be in touch about the translations. Thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you, Despina. Does anyone else have any questions or comments that they'd like to share at the moment? Because we do actually have 15 minutes left before the scheduled end of the meeting, so we're happy to take more questions. Albert, yes.
I can't find the hand.
Your physical hand is fine.
But fantastic the way you presented. Clearly and challenging, but also inviting us to join. That as first. the need for finding those at highest risk is because it started at birth, so from birth onwards, and it's given on. So homozygous FH is the greatest need, heterozygous FH, but we do have children with high cholesterol, and many of them had high lipoprotein A. So high lipoprotein A doesn't give heart problems at a young age, but it's something given on and from birth onwards. So we, as Professor Stein-Hagen-Thiessen told us, there are more, and I'm happy that the FH Europe Foundation also focus on that disorder, although perhaps not in childhood, but via the child you can find the adults as well.
Oh, Albert, there are more developments coming, and people don't know that yet. We're releasing way too much unofficial information, so you're privy to a lot of things. But Professor Albert Wigman is officially joining us as a trustee at FH Europe Foundation. So I'm sure that we need to gear up for a lot of changes as an improvements, and things will be happening in childhood. I'm sure about that. So yes, but I can see as well Elizabeth is coming, and I just wanted to add something. People, if you don't know Albert Wigman, Professor Albert Wigman is based in Amsterdam. He's one of the fathers of the whole concept and idea of FH pediatric screening, and he is behind one of the forces, along with few other experts, behind the actual initiative for FH pediatric screening. So if you ever read any publication on FH and pediatric screening, this is your man. And we're delighted to have other clinicians join the call as well. So we have Elizabeth, we have Mutas, we have Tavin, and I don't know if I see everyone, but it's really amazing to see that we have patients, leaders of patient organizations, clinicians, and researchers. Only working together we can make a difference. So great. And I know that Elizabeth wants to come in, but Gergely was first. But the good thing is that it's Emma who is moderating this call, so I pass it on to you.
Thanks, Magda. I am going to be diplomatic and just do it in the order that our hands appeared. So I will pass over to Gergely first. If Elizabeth, if you're okay with that.
Oh, for sure.
Thank you very much. I'll be quick. First of all, wonderful to see so many faces and this whole meeting. A little comment on the localization of the text and the campaign material. Yes, it's very important. It's not a simple translation, but it's pretty simple. So it's not that much text. So I encourage each and every national organization to take part in it, to take some little time for it. It's not a big job really. So we two of us in our group did that, and it was a nice opportunity to think about the actual messages. You know, if you just have 3 words to get through the message, it's not easy. But it's actually us who can find the right solution, the right words in our local language, in our local community.
And Gergely, I just echo what you said, and as I was giving kudos to everyone, I would like to invite everyone to use your virtual hands or natural, normal hands and make either a sign of thumbs up or a heart, because Gergely actually has been a silent president for quite a long time with FH Europe, and he's been making sure that we can transition from FH Europe, the charity, to FH Europe Foundation. So he is an invisible man of force and making sure that we can continue our mission. So thank you so much, Gergely, for everything you do for FH Europe, but also for FH in Hungary.
Yeah, of course, and that's thank you. And my main comment about Hungary. So the special thing this year, we are of course preparing again. In Hungary, it's fortunately or unfortunately, the FH Day is always combined with the World Heart Day because they are pretty close to each other. But I, as an optimistic man, I always see it as an opportunity because, well, let's admit that the World Heart Day is a bigger thing. I mean, general CVDs are always have more emphasis than FH itself. So we always leverage on that. So we will have our voices heard on the World Heart Day big happenings in Budapest, in Hungary's capital. It's called Our Hearts Day. Anyway, so we will have the leverage on it. And another important opportunity that this year, this half year, Hungary gives the presidency for the EU presidency, and they claim that one of their focuses is preventing CVDs. So not this is pretty close to our goals, and we are trying to fiercely remember all those politicians, what they have said and what they have pledged. It's not an easy job, but let's discuss in a separate discussion maybe what we could or should specifically do.
We will definitely dedicate time to that at our annual meeting, because you rightly said Hungary has got now a prominent role to make something happen for Hungary, but also for Europe. And I think what would be maybe useful, Emma and Spela, when we send the follow-up message from this, we can link to all the events that took place at the beginning of the presidency, together with the Hungarian representatives, with Ákos, who was part of the meetings advocating for it. So well done, and thank you for reminding us about it, Gergely. And please, again, share, if you can, paragraph or two about the event in Hungary.
Yes, that's also so we can actually find the synergies in those two things. So in this FH campaign and the previous, let's say, activities around that important meeting that was the kind of starting meeting of the whole EU CVD presidency, let's say. So I'm hopeful we can leverage on that.
Super.
Thank you.
Emma, actually, that's your meeting. I need to unlearn that bad habit. It's not long. Yeah.
Thank you, Gergely. Elizabeth, over to you now.
Yeah, okay. As you know, not everybody has high LP small a. I just want to come back a little bit to Albert's comment. And in our country, every fifth person is LP small a positive. This doesn't mean that every fifth person has a very severe disease, but anyway, it's measurable. And we have, like others, also observed that in FH patients, we have more often a combination of FH and LP small a. This is, I think it is not, it's not known until yet what is the real background of it. Maybe Albert can explain it better, because in one of your papers you mentioned also this. But we are also now measuring LP small a in our kids, and on top of that, I would very much recommend for everybody of you, when you detect an FH person, go back to the parents, try to get some blood, not only for cholesterol, but also for LP small a. Otherwise, it's only half of the chance you will lose it.
Elizabeth, you might have just won yourself an invitation to our annual network meeting in Vienna in November, because we will be discussing exactly this topic. So, yeah, gosh, we will need to add 101 participants to that meeting. Emma, do we want to mention about the International Task Force on this note?
We can do, just to time keep, we've got 5 minutes, and I'm aware that Tavin also has his hand up as well. So
okay, so welcome Tavin before we talk about anything else. That's a nice moment as well to say hello to him.
Hello, hi, nice to see all of y'all. I'm Tavin from Singapore. Yeah, for FH awareness week in Singapore, we within our institution we are organizing a short symposium for our staff to attend, because Singapore is moving towards maybe trying to implement genetic testing for screening and testing for FH within the community at large, because the prevalence in Singapore for FH is 1 in 140 individuals. That's from some genetic studies on 10,000 individuals in Singapore, so fairly common. So now moving towards testing within the country. So we thought that we will start by getting to know FH within the healthcare institution. So we're planning an event, a symposium within our institution, and I kind of shamelessly stole the points from Emma's email the main objectives. So that the talks will be about comparing the differences between hypercholesterolemia and FH, the importance of knowing the genetic diagnosis. And the last part is that our guest of honor is the CEO from the Singapore Heart Foundation. So we also want to try to put in a part about advocacy as well. So that's our theme for this year within the institution. That's just one day, but we will plan a few other events along the way for the rest of the year. Yeah, thank you very much. Great seeing all of you. I'm here with Sharon as well, who's planning the event for us.
Hi, Sharon. Thank you both, and thank you, Tavin, for providing your update. It's fantastic to hear what you're doing, and then having the Singapore Heart Foundation openly involved as well. And yeah, look forward to
Emma,
hearing.
please, can we just say hello to Tavin in a way that they're joining the network, and the FH Europe might no longer be relevant soon?
That's very true. For those of you that aren't aware at the moment, we are kind of going global, and we welcomed on board last month FH Care Singapore, and an update about them and them joining us will be going out in this month's newsletter.
Can I make a correction?
Yeah,
we're not going global. We're going international. Global
international.
is a lot. Yes, I think we give global to Global Heart Hub. They're doing such a fantastic work.
They are.
But having all the patients united from around the globe with FH and the lipids is fantastic, because we also have Middle East and Mutas, and what he's doing in the region is fantastic. And it only shows how we can inspire one another, learn from each other, and help. So if Tavin wants to shamelessly steal something from us, I will say, please, everyone, shamelessly steal.
Go ahead, absolutely. But we're delighted to have FH Care Singapore on board with us as well. For sure.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Pleasure. Magda, you wanted to come in about the International Task Force briefly.
Oh, very briefly, everyone, just in case you didn't know, topic of elevated lipoprotein A is very, very close to our hearts, literally. And so already for over a year, FH Europe Foundation, in collaboration, very strong collaboration with leading experts, not only medical, but also health and policy and economics and so on and so forth, established a dedicated Lp(a) task force. So I think it might be helpful to send a link in this follow-up email, and as well share and exchange what everyone is doing. So any reports, projects like the one in Berlin and in Germany, anything that Professor Wiegmann is doing, and anyone else in Singapore, Middle East, and every single country that I cannot name right now, it is about uniting forces. So I think what we can do is just send the link. I'm mindful of the time that you are managing. Emma, back to you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Magda. And with literally 1 minute to go to keep everyone on time, are there any final thoughts, questions before I close the call? Nope. Excellent. So in which case oh, yes, Elsie's just reminded me that we should, if everyone's happy, we'll take a photograph of this. Elsie, can I task you with doing that, because you're a lot better at the techie bits than I am.
So that means that everyone needs to turn the camera. Oh, look, they are doing it themselves.
And I don't know how you take a picture across 2 pages either. So Elsie, I'm kind of hoping you do.
Okay, if everybody's ready, make sure your hair's all sorted.
And the team in Berlin, come over.
Yeah, everybody's in. Hold up. One more go. And yep, everybody's smiling. That's always good. It's a good sign. Oops, it's gone. Don't stop smiling. There we go. Perfect.
Brilliant. Thank you, Elsie.
Excellent.
So in which case I will say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and enjoy the rest of your Thursday. And as we've said, the email will go out next week with the details and the recording, and then a further email will follow to register for the call on the 22nd. Thank you everyone so much. I think this has been a fantastic meeting, so thank you. And
thank you
we'll
very
see you
much.
soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.